Beerwerks with Matt and Tom. Hi guys, how are you doing?
We're doing great. We're glad you're here.
Great. So first off, I'd like you to just walk me through the business, show me around.
Okay. Sure.
I'll follow you up.
Well, let's go inside.
Thank you. Ooh, nice. Perfect.
Welcome in.
Thank you. Sometimes, there we go.
Okay, first off, we'll go in one of the side areas. This is one of two rooms that we have when you come to Northwest Beerwerks that you can actually have a conversation with someone. The reason I say that, we actually soundproofed all these walls when we built the place to make sure you could sit here and you could have a conversation. What we'll show you later is there's only 2 speakers in the bar, and it's above the bar. That way, you're not coming here and you're trying to talk over anybody else. You're actually having a conversation with someone.
I love it.
So if you can turn around, we'll take you and we'll show you the rest of the bar.
Perfect. Thank you.
As you're walking through here, you can see we're cigar friendly outside. Have a humidor full of cigars, but we also have over 300 bottles that anyone can try.
Around here.
They can either consume here or consume off-site.
I love it. So, do you have a lot of people buy and go?
We do.
That's amazing.
Now, before I walk your way over here, this is the rest of the bar. I'll let Matt describe the bar and kind of how we try to make it a craft beer tasting experience.
Perfect.
For starters, we rotate all of our beers. We don't have any dedicated line to a specific beer like you would at a typical tavern of Bud Light. We let all the local breweries in. We try all of their great beer. We have every style that we can possibly get through here. Always a couple nitro beers, some dark beers and some light beers. And we work from pilsners all the way up to really big bourbon barrel-aged stouts and porters. And then we also rotate our wine and cider selection too. So we've always got a couple ciders on, some dries or some nice fruity stuff, and then a combination of some red and white cider or wines for everybody to try too.
Nice. I've heard differing opinions on this. Is cider a beer?
Cider is not a beer. Cider has a lot of different laws involved with it, and it's made from fruit. So definitely, cider makers would argue that beer is a lot different for sure. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's our selection of beer right now. It constantly changes. We'll probably have 4 or 5 kegs below this evening. So that every time you come in, there's a new beer on tap.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, let's move on a little
I will
bit.
tell you something special that Matt didn't mention here that kind of makes us different is you'll notice there's a lot of distributor beer on here. However, there's a lot of beer here that is not from distributors. We're kind of like the small guy's champion. If you're just opening a brewery, we're going to find out who you are, and we're going to go there and we're going to try your beer. And if your beer's there, it's going to be put on here. As Matt told you before, once a keg's gone, something else is on. So our idea is you come here on a Wednesday, you come here on a Friday, there's at least 5 new things on tap for you to try, because that's what the craft beer experience is about.
Fantastic.
It's about tasting different things. Another thing that we like to showcase is our employees here. Because we ensure that our employees are highly trained, they understand what they're doing, and they make a great experience. So if I can just introduce you to Chris.
Perfect.
Hi.
Hi. How long? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
How long have you worked here?
I've worked here for like almost a year, and I love it. And we like to know our customers. I know them by name, and I know what their favorite flavor profile is.
Nice.
So I can steer them in the right direction to what beer they want.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about these mugs back here?
Mugs. So this is the Mug Club. It's annual, and you get 20 ounces versus the 16. That's a pint. And everyone, you can you get your little name engraved on it and the year that you joined it. You get 10% off.
Perfect.
So.
Great. Okay, guys, let's go back over to where we were going to finish our little tour.
Here we have a little sample pack for you here.
Oh, yay.
So you can try some nice beer here at Northwest Beerwerks.
Perfect. If you want to sit down over right down there. Perfect.
We even got it lined up with you so you know what you got there on each side.
Nice. I love it. Can you guys scoot just a little closer together? We're live, but I have to give direction, so I see both of you. A little bit more.
Come on.
Yep, you like each other. Perfect. And so a couple things here. How did this business get started?
This business actually got started, my partner and I, who is a guy named Tom Johnson, who's not here today. Really, we're into craft beer. We wanted to open a place, and we wanted to open a place that was a craft beer experience that you would go to and be constantly changing different things. We knew Matt from afar. We started to get closer and realized that, hey, this is the guy we needed to hire to take us to the next level. And then it's just carried on since then. It took us about 2.5 months to build out because this was a three-bedroom house. We tore it down, tore everything inside out, rebuilt it from scratch, and the rest is history. It's been going great, almost 3 years solid.
Nice, 3 years.
Yeah.
Great. So tell us a little bit more about your background. Do you guys do anything else with your time?
Well, I do, and so does my other partner. My other partner works for the state, is the state law enforcement labor union rep. I am an active duty military police officer, still active duty at Joint Base Lewis McChord. This is kind of transition for me and him from, being both a state and a federal employee, transitioning to private business, small business. Matt is a local head brewer of O-Town.
Yep.
And
nice small little brewery that is always making weird beer. So
Nice.
kind of works good for this business, so that I can keep an eye on what the industry is kind of moving towards, and it gives us a little bit of a different insight of how beer is made and what to expect from beer.
I love it. Great. So I'm going to switch the camera around so I can taste these beers, but first I'll show what they are. I have an IPA, a pineapple pale, a Scottish ale, and an overhang porter. I'm not a super beer aficionado, but I definitely love to try things and try new things and cook, so it's a lot of fun for me. There we go, you can kind of see me, and let's try the first one, guys. Nice chilled glass, so keep that in mind. Nice pour, like not a lot of buzz on the top. I'll have to ask the specialists here, but I think that if you pull a beer wrong, it can give you a stomach ache. That's what I heard recently.
If you are getting too much CO2 on a bottom pour, you can you get a little gassy, but in general, CO2 is not bad for you when it's in your beer.
Okay, so. Well, that answers one question. So that's delicious. It's really smooth. It's not too bitter. Not too hops forward, but just enough for me at least. Now here's the pineapple pale. Ooh, that is very pineapple-y. I did not expect that.
it's always about the tasting experience.
Well, I hear pale ale and I always think really hoppy. And that's not too hoppy. It's a little citrusy maybe, but it's good. And Scottish ale. And look how clear that is, guys. Oh, that is nice. Well, do you guys have anything to add about these?
The Scottish you're tasting right now is from a small brewery up on the Stevens Pass.
Wow.
Is it Stevens? Or White Pass, sorry. Doghouse Brewing. He's a very small brewery. I think we're the only place this side of the mountains that has his product.
I can't stop drinking it.
And that's one of those things we hit on, we're going after those little brand new breweries that have only been open 1 or 2 years, because once they make it to the big level, their distributorship and everybody can have them, but we want you to taste them before then.
Nice. So here's the overhang porter, and that is a dark, dark beer. It's black.
So that delicious beer is aged in bourbon barrels. It's also 12%, so that's why we have nice small glasses for people to try them out of.
But you get the full sampler.
Yeah, it's like, I have never quite had a beer like it.
No.
Like, it's a little bit chocolatey, but it's like really creamy in my mouth. So, okay guys, so this one here is amazing if you like a dark beer. I'm picky about my dark beers, like super picky. And I think that it's like, it's not as bitter to me as a dark beer can be sometimes. Like, I don't know how to explain it exactly. What would the flavor profile, what would you say the flavor
You're going to get a lot of
is?
vanillas and chocolates from the barrel. as they're sitting in the barrel, it's had that bourbon in there, so there's all these different flavors coming out from that. And as it sits in there longer, it'll go through the seasons of shrinking and going in and out of that wood in the barrel, so you get lots of fun flavors.
Nice. What I found is that it's really smooth and definitely really chocolate forward on my mouth at least. So guys, I'm gonna flip it back around now that we've done our little sample. Okay, so finally, curveball question. You've given us a lot of information, so one last thing. I hear that you have a secret room here. Is that true?
This is true.
Okay, and what is that room?
We have an aging room that no one else in town has.
Does anyone in the state have an aging room? Like, do you know any other place that
I
has
don't think
one?
there's that many places that do it to the extent that we do it here.
Can we see it?
We can see it.
Okay.
We can head down there.
Let's head
Let's
down
go.
there and then we're done.
So it's down in our office areas, but occasionally is opened up for customers to be able to come in and get a quick tour.
Bill, owner extraordinaire of Centerless Imagery. Okay.
So this is the way to our cellar room.
Perfect.
The neat thing about this that a lot of people that are into craft beer understand, but if you're just a beginner in craft beer, the good thing is a dark beer. You take example Goose Island Bourbon County Stout.
Mm-hmm.
It's very boozy in the beginning when you first get it. So you taste the alcohol. But if you let it age 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, every bit of time you have, it smooths. Nice. So the beer actually gets better. So what we pick is we take some of the best beer that comes in every year, and we put a little piece of it down in our aging room to sell it later. But we set on it for, like I said, 6, 12, 18 months, whatever that might be, to ensure that it's ready. Nice. And we're the only ones in town that do that. You see, we've got horizontal aging across the board,
wow,
by different years, and then we've got vertical aging, 16, 17, 18 of different beers.
Nice.
Also, what you'll see down here, kind of one-offs that we do. We have our own souring project here. Mm-hmm. We are not making beer, okay, mm-hmm. but we're taking beer that's already made, and our manager Matt, along with the other head brewer of whoever we buy it from, pick a different yeast strain, and what that does is that sours the beer. And it makes it a little different. And we are the only ones in town with this specific brand or this specific collaboration. I'll let Matt talk a little more about that.
So we get green beer from brewers, so it's fermented. It's just not carbonated yet. They bring it over. We load up our barrels, and we'll work with that brewery to decide which sour strain we want to use. These two particularly are red wine barrels that had Syrah wine in them before. So we've taken a red from O-Town and a brown from Matchless brewing out of Tumwater, and put our own little twist on them. We let them sit in here for about a year, and then what we've created now is it was called a Solera project. So so this has about 59 gallons in here. We'll take about half of that out. And then load it back up with fresh green beer. So by putting in green beer or new beer, we're able to blend and get some really different characteristics that you're never going to find at any other place because it's changed here.
Nice. So a lot of people don't even know what a sour beer is. Just like one sentence maybe on a sour beer.
There's a lot of different kinds of sours. So that's really hard to condense down. But a sour beer is generally a beer that's not fermented with regular ale strain yeast or lager yeast. So it's going to either have some funky farmhousey smells or a really tartness that'll get you in the back of your jaw.
Pucker your lips.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've had before, and it's unique, very unique.
Yes.
It's not what you think of when you think of beer. It's like I get beer and like a tart candy. I don't know how to explain it.
The other thing we're doing is these are old bourbon barrels. So we are getting some really good stouts from the local guys. Some of these are 10 to 12% stouts, and we let them age in here a year and a half, and then we can also do blends with these too. So very unique, different
Perfect. Stuff. Well, guys, I'm gonna have you stand next to each other. Perfect. And I'm going to turn the camera around because we all say goodbye together usually.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys. Thanks
Bye.
for
Have a good day.
watching.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.
All right.